Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Anastasia podcast. For you guys, it's just another Tuesday. For me, I think I literally haven't recorded an episode since like the week of November 20s. So it's been a long time. We are in peak regression with Magnolia. It's like every single time things get good, and I'm so excited. Life just has a way of humbling you. So Matt and I, we really wanted to 2 different days last week. Well, probably I wanted to, and then Matt is my willing guest. Wanted to record a podcast because Magnolia turned 1. So we have a 1-year-old, and one of my girlfriends came over from Boston, Lily, shout out to you, with her son Elijah. And we're like hanging out, and I'm just like telling her, I'm like, girl, like that year mark, because her son is 7 months. I'm like, that year mark, like it just gets better. Like, I can't believe I made it to a year. And it was literally like clockwork. That night, every night since has just been getting worse and worse. Magnolia's molars are coming in. And I'm just like, this episode is not going to be about venting about being a mom and having babies and things like that. But I'm just always in awe of like how humbled you get, how quickly, because I am coming off of, I did a big project at the salon, and it was a lot of work, and it was so awesome to see Sam so excited and like so in love with it and like so happy with it. And it was like a gift that kept on giving. And for me, from like my design perspective and Costa Cabin perspective, it was like, okay, like I am picking up mentally where I left off when I found out I was pregnant. Like when I found out I was pregnant, I decided to pause everything with all clients because I knew I wanted to focus on my family and our home and just kind of getting prepped and ready for baby and what our new life is going to look like. But we were really at a crossroads with our business of like, it's really not feasible for us to keep doing all the work because Matt works a more than full-time job, and him being the guy who does all the labor, like him being basically our contractor and things like that, is just we needed to figure out another route. And another route is going to be either we hire employees who work for us for Costa Cabin, or we subcontract or like create partnerships with other contractors, etc. So it was honestly like it kind of came in perfect timing becoming pregnant, because I was like, I don't have to deal with the seriousness of that right now. I can just shelf it and get back to it. Okay, fast forward a year and 9 months later, because pregnancy is 9 months, whatever. And I like getting to do that project. Matt was a huge help, helped me with so much. I haven't even posted the reveal of it on social media yet because literally my ass has been getting handed to me by my 1-year-old. Um, but it was so much more than just the physical act of doing a project. It was reigniting in myself that like what I love so much about interior design, but for me it's like not for me it's just like making your space work for you in the most beautiful elevated way without compromising on functionality. And by without compromising on functionality, I mean literally enhancing functionality, like building up the design and redesign of environments based on making your space serve you, because so many times that's not what you end up getting when you're first buying a home or buying a business or whatever. And with Sam, she kind of had this sweet spot. We touched about this in the podcast that I did with her, but like owning her business for now 11 years, she really got to see what she needs from her business, like in the building and things like that. And that was really cool. Being a part of her team for so long, getting to see the ins and outs of what everybody really needs, and kind of getting to use my brain and like reimagine things, how things could permanently serve the stylists and people who are in that building, like clients, stylists, etc. It was a lot of fun, but it reignited in me like, okay, right now it's kind of working out for my life where like I can like beg my parents, or Matt's mom will take Magnolia, and shout out to Miss Sue, she's the goat, and Mr. Mark. They took Magnolia for a sleepover. So I had 2 days back to back of just like putting the pedal to the metal when the salon was closed for Thanksgiving, like recess or break. And I then actually my father-in-law by chance was driving by and stopped in to be like, oh, do you guys like need help with anything? And only I was there. And I was like, do you want to paint? So long story, working in that capacity, it's working for right now, but I know it won't work for long term. It is working exactly as it's supposed to in this season, but I'm always in this push and pull of like, am I even supposed to be doing anything with our business right now? Am I still supposed to be just like honed in on like living my own little life while I'm adjusting to motherhood? And it's so hard because I think when you have big dreams and you're a big dreamer and you want to go get them, and my life just even one short year ago, it's like anything I wanted, I could just pivot and go get it. Like, I want to figure out how to do this. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to go, I'm going to achieve that, and I'm going to move on. Like, the podcast was, I guess, the learning curve of this year along with motherhood. But anyways, I feel like I was riding this high of getting this clarity of I'm not exactly sure exactly what I'm supposed to do moving forward, but I know that I'm at the beginning of the next steps and I know I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to like call on God. I'm going to pray. I literally was like, dude, I'll even like fast. Like I will like just hone in and listen to the Lord and go where he's guiding me. And then I'm just like a week of no sleep. No naps, a cranky baby, not even a cranky, a super fussy baby where like day in and day, it just, so I'm just trying to figure out what my silver lining is here, what the purpose is, what the message is, where the guidance is, like what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's for me to unpack, but that's just giving you guys a little background of my life and where I'm at. Today's podcast, I just started. I'm going to be taking my calendar. I have to rip November out. And I am going to be pre-writing in where, like, the podcast that I'm filming today. Today is December 13th, I think. Yes, December 13th. This podcast is going to launch on December 22nd. So the week of Christmas. So Merry Christmas, everybody. I need to get better at doing that because I think the podcast I'm posting on the 15th or on the 16th in a few days, I recorded as a Thanksgiving prep. So like, that's just how behind the times I am. So this way, at least I can acknowledge where you guys are at in real time and just be a little bit better at programming things. Matt and I will record a podcast of what it's like processing an entire year of parenthood, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I think like I'm glad it didn't work out for us recording it the 2 days that we tried to last week. We didn't even like sit down and try. It was like just spoken of, and then based on the princess's schedule, it was very quickly understood that it was not happening. But I'm glad we didn't do it because when life is this hard and there's that much sleep deprivation and it's this stressful and it's this testing, you're not speaking from a clear-minded place, like you're speaking from a place of pain. And I don't want to highlight that because I know a lot of parents get it, you know, you're just in real-time processing, but we never want to make parenthood like scary and like, oh, this sucks. Like, yeah, it has really sucky moments. It's still the greater good of it is great. It's just hard. And the hard for us will not be the same for everybody else. Like everybody gets different kids. You just figure out your flow. So anyways, hopefully Magnolia has a miraculous come around and all her teeth break through, all her molars at the same time. And then she's back to being our fun loving, cheery little girl. And then we can record a podcast about how wonderful she is. So anyways. What I do want to cover today is I want to say one quick thing. My cousin Ellen wrote a book, okay? And this book is about when you like declutter your home and after the purge, not that scary movie, but when you like go through stuff in your home, if you are jaded on or like, you know, if you're very passionate about ethical ways of disposing things, this is a good guide when it comes to like electronics, clothing, kind of just like any miscellaneous things you'll find around your house. She even gets into like when you go through paperwork in your office and things like that, shredding, proper disposal, etc. So I just wanted to give her a little shout out because I don't know if like a lot of my listeners are like this. I've always wanted to write a book. Like I wanted to like write like a book when I was a kid about what it was like being an immigrant's kid, growing up in America, just stories, finding yourself, etc. We celebrate people's wins, and it is amazing that my cousin wrote a book. Buy it on Amazon. All right, so the topic that I want to cover today is I want to speak to the people out there who are losing hope with dating, with believing that their significant other is out there. And I really want to speak to you because I think, especially this time of the year, it can really either highlight your like frustration for the place that you're in your life, or just like maybe really continue hardening your heart or whatever. But without saying any names, but you know who you are. I bumped into someone last week who I went to high school with while she was out and I was out running like a few little last it turns out I actually have a frig ton more Christmas shopping to do. I finally sat down yesterday and wrote my list and I was like, oh my god. I spent, like, 3 days wrapping gifts. We have big families. I'm one of 5, my husband's one of 2, but he has, like, a big extended family, and there's a lot of, like, relatives who are just very kind and always involved, and the holidays is when you want everybody to feel remembered. So, without going crazy, but also this year, I feel like I finally have a little bit of room of sanity, or, like, consciousness despite not sleeping. And I just want to remember people who, like last year, we didn't get a gift for a single person. I literally gave birth December 5th. And I remember we had my family over for Christmas, like kind of impromptu, and Matt's family. Susan took care of everything, literally brought droves of food, fed everyone. We were just like barely existing with a newborn. And my little brother, Andre, was leaving and he's like, hey, I'm about to leave. Like, is there like a present for me anywhere here? And I was like, Magnolia is everybody's present. Bye. So that's where I was at last year. I've never skipped Christmas. I didn't do Christmas cards. Like, I still have to do Christmas cards this year. I was just looking at my list of addresses of people I send cards to. And guys, my list is 3 pages front and back. And then I've been seeing online that like stamps are $1. I'm like, what's going on? Like literally what's going on? I thought stamps were like 50 cents. Stamps are not $1. They're 78 cents. But I'm like, all right, I am going to pull that move that when we have a big holiday party, I'm all over the place. I clearly haven't podcast in a few weeks, but we have a big family party on Matt's side of the family in like 2 weekends. And I feel like there's like 30 people there. I will be bringing my Christmas cards there along with, gifts, little knickknacks for people. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. But anyways, we're going to hone into today's topic. So something that I've been thinking about when I saw this girl, I asked her like, we're kind of just talking like, hey, what's up? What are you up to, etc. And I asked her, are you married? Do you have kids? And like, that is my kind of first thing of like approaching because that is my point of reference right now in my life. Like that's what I'm going through. That's what like kind of my world revolves around 360. Me talking about my hopes and dreams and entrepreneurial things, etc., comes later. Like in the forefront is always like, oh my God, like wife, mom, wife, mom. Anyways, she's been a teacher for the past 12 years, but she's not married right now. She's not really dating. And we kind of talked about a lot of things. And then it was actually great because when we got in line for checkout, the line was, there was a little bit of a wait. And then we got to dive into like, so do you still have talk to anybody from high school? And then that is always so much fun because it's just like, school is like such a part of your life for so long. And then we all just leave and everybody gets to start their own life. And like, it's wicked sad, like the people who aren't here anymore, people who unexpectedly passed away, but it's so fun to like know people who like were just always in passing to you, who might be a part of this friend group, like who are still friends, how they're doing, etc. I'm not a person who remained friends with like people in high school on social media. I did like mass purges because some people like pursued routes of like starting CBD companies or THC companies or whatever. And like people's recreational or like primary whatever hobbies, like I only have so much bandwidth. I don't want to open social media and see someone's buds and they're like, the plants are doing great. Like, I love that for you. I literally don't care about seeing it. And I also don't want to be a hater because I don't smoke marijuana or like smoke weed. I don't want to like just be like, ugh, and like keep scrolling. I would just rather not see it. And then if I ever see you out in public, be like, oh my gosh, how great to see you. How are you doing? That was another thing. We really only have so much capacity for the day to day. When you spend so much time knowing so many things about so many different people, I remember I had something happen. Like, I've never been a person who sees someone I know in public and I don't say hello. Like, maybe like once if it was a creep and I was just like, I'm not acknowledging this person. But like, I genuinely, it's like a little life coincidence. I'm like, oh my gosh, how are you? I had something happen one time where I knew something maybe like tragic that happened in someone's life and I saw them at the gas station and or maybe it wasn't tragic, maybe it was like a little like toxic or I don't remember what it was, but I was like, I just don't even like being in that position where I like know that about someone. Me, meanwhile, filming a podcast, sharing my whole freaking personal life. But I hope I'm providing entertainment for people. Um, I was like, I want to give someone a clean slate, and when I see them, truly be like, "How are you doing? Like, how's it going? How's the family? How is your like, are you still pursuing this vector?" Like, I wanna pick up where I left off in my brain instead of my brain making its own pathways and conclusions about a person, where it's just from what I'm seeing of them, it's not actually seeing like, hearing it from the source. Does that make sense? So, we're all different, but truly for me, guys, I'm a very social person. I am very social. You guys know this. This is like comes naturally to me because of that. Like, I don't even have time to watch all my best friends' stories on social media. I don't. If you're a cousin, I like 75% of the time make it to that. Like my bandwidth is like here. Voice notes, that's a different story. If you're one of my girlies, dude, we send novels to each other. That's how I stay in contact with people. Yo, my friend Brianna the other day, we check in like once a month. This girl sent me, it was like 2 pages of screenshots and it's like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Like, and I'm like, I love this girl so much because that is the perfect thing to listen to one day when I'm folding like 5 loads of laundry and like truly getting a chance to catch up with my friend, maybe way after hours. Maybe I'm gonna be folding laundry at 11 o'clock at night. Brianna bartends, like she has 2 kids. I have a kid. Like, gone are the days where you can just like pick up the phone and chill and talk to your friend for like an hour or whatever. It doesn't happen. So, anyways, I love voice noting, but where was I getting at with all this? Genuinely, like, when I see someone who I know from my past, I wanna, like, approach them with a clear mind and ask how they're doing, and I truly care, and it's not surface and whatever. So, through that, we ended up having a conversation, and she had said something like, "I'm single right now, but, like, I'm happy, like, I'm okay with it, and it's just hard out there, and the guys, and it's." And I just, like, felt for her so much because 1, I know it's bad out there, like, I don't firsthand know, but, like, I work at a salon with all girls, and you hear stories, and then, like, you see long-term relationships where, like, there wasn't, like, an engagement commitment or whatever. Like, you just see things fall apart, and you just know the reality of, like, how things can be hard and heartbreaking out there, but I don't wa like, I never want people to lose hope in that your person is out there. And so like all week I just kept thinking about this in so many different analogies. So this is what I want the like kind of thing that I dive into today. And I'm still going to make this short. We're already 20 minutes in and I've talked about not sleeping and my business. So some like notes that I jotted down this week is like, all right, we you guys, we go to school. We dedicate the time in college. We pursue degrees. We kind of figure out what fields we want to go in. When people graduate college, they go get their internships or their first jobs in their careers. Maybe they're starting lower level. They're giving themselves the patience and the ability to build up momentum to like climb the ranks. And like now being in our 30s, a lot of our peers are like really invested in their careers and at a place that they want to be at. And oftentimes, not always, but so, like people are finding themselves like, okay, I'm at this job, my life's in this flow, I'm in this routine. Where is my person? Like you're doing it alone. And I think the number one first thing people have to give themselves permission to do is like let yourself in your heart of hearts acknowledge that like if you do want to find your person, and I'm not talking like, oh, girlfriend, boyfriend, like if you want to find your husband, if you want to find your wife, you have to be honest with yourself about that from the get-go. Like, how are we not? We're honest with ourselves of like, I want to climb the corporate ladder. I want this job. I want to build my business up to XYZ. And then people like close their hearts off from giving themselves permission to be like, no, I want to find my wife. I want to be married by blank. Like, and I understand why, right? Because there's this fear of disappointment, and then there's this other thing about it that as time goes on and the clock ticks and you get older and you have heartbreak after heartbreak or disappointment after disappointment, it's easier to like let a dream die and make yourself think that it's your idea than like sitting in the pain of like, why isn't this working out for me? How come I can't find my person? Whatever. And I just want to say, I really understand the validity of that. and the intimacy of like the depth of the emotion behind something like that. And it's like, okay, there's a lot of things in life like that are not easy to talk about, right? Like they say, like, don't talk about politics, don't talk about religion, don't talk about money, blah, 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 blah. Being really vulnerable with emotions is another thing too, because you have to like gauge your audience. You can't be like overly emotional because people are going to think you're unstable and blah, 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 blah. Ladies and gentlemen, when you find your person for life, you get to share all the emotions. So you'll get your time. But I am like, we have no problem socially vocalizing, like, what do they say all the time in corporate meetings? What's your 5-year plan? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? And they want you to feed the machine. They want you to be like, I would like to be in this senior management position, or like, I would still love to be with the company, whatever it is for you. Why don't we give ourselves permission to say, in 5 years, I want to be married? In X amount of years? Yes, life, you have to like believe that there's going to be a balance. There is going to be a little bit of like a bold claim that you're claiming over your life, and then blind trust that like God's in control, but you have to truly surrender it, and you have to be honest with yourself if that's what you want. And on the other side of it is you have to be okay with like trusting God's timing too. I know this is easier said than done from my perspective where I'm sitting, because I met my husband at 21. We've been together for 13 years. It's been the best adventure of my life. But I always want to shift it to the people who I know who sometimes are like in that really hard place of struggling with relationships. They are often excelling in business, in careers, and I'm like, "Dude, I'm 34." I remember when I turned 30, I was like, what is wrong with me? I've changed my mind like 40 times on what I want to do. I had paralysis my entire 20s. I could not get myself to start anything. All I ever wanted through my whole 20s was to do a building and design business with my husband. I was so scared to start. Matt had to be the full manpower behind everything. I was like so afraid to touch tools. I could like help, but I could not lead on anything. Like initiating, starting big projects, like things I was so fearful over, I would like succumb to my fear. And for other people out there who have built entrepreneurial businesses, they are like riding that thing. It's like a grinding machine. It is going. They are like raking in serious revenue for their businesses, setting new goals, keeping going after them. Even people who maybe you're not an entrepreneur, but like I think being like the girl who I bumped into, being in her career for 12 years, that is dedication. That's beautiful. And it's like we all have our paths where I guess like from their perspective, right? The entrepreneurs, people dedicated to their careers, whatever, for them, that could be like, yeah, but that's so easy. You know, I knew I wanted to be here. I knew I wanted to build this. I just found a path and I followed it. In the same way that that is easy for them, relationships was so easy for me. And it actually is like, if I could share one thing, it is the same application. It's like, you have to be honest with yourself about what do you want? Do you like when people say like, I don't know if it happens, cool, but I'm not looking, it's not going to happen for you then. It is not going to happen for you. You don't magically stumble into success with business. You don't magically stumble into the career of like your dreams by being super mediocre in all these other ways. You are applying effort. You are intentional behind what you're doing. You have to be intentional with relationships. And I'm not talking like get super serious, get on every dating I don't know, site, apps, whatever. What I am saying is you need to give yourself permission to be serious with yourself, because as you weed out all your own stuff and like start shedding the stuff that does not serve you, does not really align with what you want, you are going to slowly forge your path to align yourself to that thing that you want. Another thing I wrote, I have to read this because I have to let my brain like process it so I can say what I need to say, is I said, why don't people give themselves permission to bet on themselves for relationships? All good things take time. Building careers, your schools, jobs, etc., or businesses. People have the grit for that, but not for love, because they're scared, and people are people, but you have to believe it will work out. I know that a lot of times the hardening of your heart, closing it off, is from literally disappointment after disappointment after disappointment of like shooting your shot, giving it another go, revving yourself up, like building up all this, like, okay, I'm going to try it again. And I understand the back and forth of how exhausting that is, how defeating it is, especially if you actually really want it, but you're like not giving yourself permission to like almost like say it out loud. You know what I mean? And one thing that I love saying to people who are out there looking for their person is like, it's not supposed to work out with everyone because you're looking for the one. If you went out date after date and were hitting it off, like how much worse would that be for you? How much more confusing would that be for you? Because like you're gonna like put yourself in a state of paralysis. It's almost better when you can very quickly identify like this is not it. Great. Next. Something that I did mentally, I never like got pen to paper, but I read this book called The Compound Effect. This was like years later, but I always had a mental checklist of what I was looking for. And when I read The Compound Effect years later, I had already been with Matt. This guy, what's his name? Darren Hardy. I'm just looking at the book on the bookshelf. He talked about like when he was like envisioning his future wife, he started writing on a piece of paper like who she was, what was her personality like, what was her humor like, what was her view on politics, what was her view with religion, like how did she take care of herself, what values did she have, like XYZ, XYZ. I think he said he wrote like 10 pages back and forth, front and back. And then he said, after I finished the list of like who I wanted my future wife to be or who I was like looking for, right? So you can get it all out from here. You get pen to paper. There's something very powerful about pen and paper. It's like borderline biblical, okay? He goes, then I started writing who I needed to become to attract a person like that into my life, like to be worthy, not even attract, because I don't mean that, I don't mean this in that weird, mystical, like manifesting. And I don't like all that crap because all that stuff doesn't fill the void and it leads you nowhere. And I was a part of that world with all the self-help books. And literally, it just comes back down to God, not the universe, not vibes. It's literally God. Like, Alpha and Omega, like, right? Is that like the Son, the Father, and the Holy Ghost? Like it literally, God created you in your mom's womb. He knows you. You are like an angel or a soul from heaven sent down to earth. Like reconnect with your father. He will help you out. But I also don't want to freak people out because I know we all have our own journeys to get there with faith. I think I just look back on my life and I'm like, dude, God had a hand on me at all times, even when I wasn't necessarily walking with the Lord. I used to hang out with really bad people, had my own run-in with the law. Those who know. My mom watching this, she knows. I caused my parents a lot of heartache. But anyways, it's not supposed to work out with everyone, and that's the gift. But when you give yourself the opportunity to just really be honest with yourself about what you're looking for, that's a great starting point because even if you don't exactly know what you're looking for, but you know what you don't want, that's also great. How many times are we in jobs and you're in a job and just something doesn't sit right with you, it doesn't feel right with you. You're like, I don't know what I want, but like I know what I don't want. I always love that. Great. That's a great starting point. Okay, so just try to create more distance from what you don't want and try different. Maybe you're always kind of dating the wrong person or like the same type of wrong person, bad for you person. Like, okay, so you know what you don't want. Start distancing yourself from that. I don't know if I've said this in this podcast. My brother did a podcast with me and Matt and like captured our love story. He didn't end up posting it because my brother was doing like 3 to 4 hour long podcasts and the poor guy just was like, I'm so sick of editing this stuff. Mine and Matt's story, I dated my high school boyfriend for a few years. It was a lot of back forth, back forth. It was not good. After that, I knew how my heart operated in a relationship. And I was like, when I'm dating someone, when I'm like someone's significant other, I want to give them my whole heart. And I don't ever want to worry on if that's going to be taken care of or not. I literally want to give my heart to someone and then I want to live life with them. I want to build with them. I want to dream with them. I want to like us enhance each other and be better. And literally just knowing that, right? I didn't know exactly what I wanted of like, I didn't know all these big life things, but I just knew I didn't ever want to be with someone who would play with my heart or like hurt me like that ever again. So I was single for 3.5 years. I dated wisely. Of course, I dated people in that time frame. I dated respectfully. I was honest with myself when I would go on dates, kind of just seeing like who the person was, the things that they enjoyed doing. And this is going to be wicked funny because literally I know my mom listens to my podcast, but I was seeing this guy who was super, super nice and he loved every day, all day, every day. I did not. Nicest guy ever, like wonderful friends, loved hanging out with him and his friends. But after a few dates, like maybe we saw each other for like a month, maybe 2 months, I just remember feeling this really strong conviction of like, Anastasia, this is not going to work. Sure, you guys get along. Sure, you could probably date for years. And then what's going to happen in 2 years? You're going to have like anger that he never gave up this habit. And he's gonna be resentful of you that, like, you've always wanted him to stop, and he just doesn't understand why. And I remember, like, when I processed that and understood it of, like, why am I because, like, you don't see it as a red flag, and I'm not saying the fact that he smoked recreationally or whatever, like, is a red flag. It's just we were just aligned in 2 different ways, like, the things he enjoyed versus the things I enjoyed. And I remember, like, the day that I realized this, I drove to go see him. He was at a friend's house. I think there was, like it was a party. I had just gotten out of work or something. We go in a separate room, and I'm talking to him, and I'm basically like, "This isn't gonna work." And I remember he sat there, and he's like, "Anastasia, I don't need you to smoke weed to be with me." And I was like, "No, but actually you do." Like and it was nicest person ever, best temperament, like, not not for me. And it was great, went our separate ways, like, that's what I'm saying, like, have those hard conversations that no one wants to have. Don't ghost people, don't be disrespectful. When I tell you, like, I wanna say maybe a decade after this, I randomly thought of this guy, somehow came up on Facebook, maybe it was something I had posted from college. He married his perfect mate. I'm sure they're very happy, vibing, chilling, being mellow, living the good life, pursuing the things that they want, just like I literally ended up in my perfect situation. Like, what I'm trying to say here is you have to give yourself permission to like go through the uncomfortable in the immediate because you're not looking for something to temporarily fill a void. You're looking for the like lifelong. So, that was just one example, but, like, literally 3.5 years of just and I'm not, like, going on dates every weekend, I'm just, like I'm just being me, I know what I'm looking for, I'm acting right, I'm behaving, I'm not, like I'm sorry, I didn't go out to bars, I didn't go to clubs, like, I literally have never been to a club in my life. Like, actually, I literally think I've never been to a club in my life. I just wasn't that girl. Is Whiskey Republic a club? No, it's not. That was, like, when we're older, and I'm pretty sure the time I went there, my now husband was there too because we were with friends. Anyways, you gotta go all in on yourself. You just have to remember all good things take time. So, I'm sorry if my whole message didn't come across the way that I wanted to. I feel like I said "so" and "then" to get to the point, long story short, whatever, a gajillion times. That's okay. I just want everyone to remember, if you can hone in and dedicate the time to build your career, build your businesses. You owe it to yourself if it's a desire of your heart. You owe it to yourself to go all in and pursue love. And I will say, like, if you make it a non-negotiable, it will happen for you. And with this is honesty. You cannot be like a dirtbag. You cannot be sleazy. Like, life will always if you are a person that talks to multiple people and you play games, it's not gonna work out for you. And I'm saying, like, I know guys do this and I know girls who do this, okay? Like, you can sit there and cry, and this is not the girl who I bumped into. I'm just thinking about other people that I know, like, some people are not ready to have those honest conversations, but they're very quick to be like, "There's no good guys, there's no good girls," and it's like, you know how they act. It's not my job to parent anyone. It's not my job to, like, call people out on it. It's you have to get honest with yourself, and when you do the work of being honest, correcting your behavior, aligning yourself with you want, like, a good person who's gonna ladies, you want a man who's gonna, like, provide, and this is a reality for us, right? My generation, we are the women, like, "Go get the career, blah, blah, blah." How many of us then you're, like, in your 30s now, and we're thinking about having kids, and guess something that's really real that we have to think about? Do I wanna take some time off to be home with my kids? Is my husband someone who can provide something like that? Like, those are all really real because you might have a kid and you're like, "Whoa, I don't wanna rush back to work," or you might, like, you're not skipping a beat and you're going right back to it. That's fine. Those are all things that you have to think of as well. Guys, like, I know the push right now in today's society is like men want good women who, like, just help take care of what they're building, your home, like not maids, not cooking, cleaning, but like help taking care of what it takes to like build life. Well, how are you acting? Are you a little bit of a skis? Are you like a player? I hope people in their 30s are not players, like, OMG, like, what are you doing? Give yourself permission to build that. Give yourself permission to acknowledge that that's actually what you want. Give it to God, bring it up in prayer. God will make it happen for you. Ask God to take away from you what you need taken off, like your own walls, like your own beliefs around whatever. Your true person is out there. Pray about it and God will make it all work out. Your person is out there thinking the same thing that you are. Like, they're like, wow, where is my person? I hope they're out there looking for me too. I know why it's not working out with everybody else. That's what I want to leave you guys with. If you believe, like, if it's always been on your heart that you wanted to be married, have a wife, have a husband, have kids, have this beautiful life, don't discredit that for yourself just because you might be finding yourself in a place at 30 blank, I don't know, maybe even 40, that's off the table for you. You can, just like any kind of business goal, you can decide this for yourself and work towards it. And when you're actually putting effort and energy into it, you have no idea how God can change everything. It's like when I get serious and I write things down and I work towards it and I'm mentally and emotionally all in, focusing, like the momentum that picks up and that opportunities start opening up and things start working out, it's actually kind of crazy. And it's the same thing for love. Give yourself the chance to bet on yourself, bet on love, and watch what God can do. So thank you guys so much for listening. I can't believe I got this podcast done during bedtime. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'll catch you all next week. Please like, share, subscribe. I'm not going to do a person of the week that I want to highlight because the person of the week I want to highlight right now is me. No, actually, you know what? I will do a person of the week that I want to highlight. Grandma. Also grandpa, because Matt's dad is there by default. Matt's mom and her help with Magnolia should be like classified in sainthood. Susan has kept me above water with her help with babysitting Magnolia the days that she takes her over the past year. Like, literally, I'll cover this more in next week's podcast, but I would not have made it without Miss Sue. So thank you so much, Miss Sue. I love you. I'll catch you guys all next time. Bye.